So I was talking to a student and she seems to think that building sales funnels is super complicated, and she doesn't seem to think that I can create a sales funnel that has the ability to generate $1 million in just about the next 60 minutes.
There's no way you could have it done in less than 60 minutes.
But I've done it before and I can do it again. So today I'll be building out the full sales funnel live that can convert like crazy and book tons of sales calls and make tons of sales. And to make it really exciting, I'm gonna be giving myself about 60 minutes to get it all done. So if you're ready to go with me, let's go and let's make it happen. Now, I'm only giving myself an hour because I really want to show that you don't have to overthink this process. There's a lot of tools out there that can make it super easy, and we're going to be creating an MVP version of a funnel that you can, of course, refine over time. But the most essential thing is to make it work. So I already have an idea for an offer. I haven't actually built the offer quite yet, but I will be just building the sales funnel anyway. So I want you to understand first that, of course, once you have your offer idea, this is the step that you're moving into. If you still are trying to figure out what that offer needs to be, we have lots of other videos on this channel where you can go in and start brainstorming what that offer should be for you. So for this example, I already know what I'm selling and I already have it all mapped out, but I need to create the sales funnel. So my sales funnel is going to be quite simple to begin with. So what is it going to look like? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have the lead in, the main thing that people are going to be purchasing, a low ticket offer. So I'm going to be making it a $47 mini course, but I'm not going to make $1 million from a $47 micro product. That's going to take, I don't know, a lot of customers, and I don't have a very large audience, so it's just not going to work. So instead, the goal is for us to increase the average order value as much as possible. An average order value essentially is how much on average are people spending during the buying process. I'm going to have an order bump. So an order bump is, and I'll show you as we're building this out, an order bump is something that people can just check really quickly to add to cart. You don't have to have anything too fancy with that. And for this, I'm actually going to keep the price the same. I'm also going to do $47 and we're going to keep it simple. Now the next step is a one-time offer or an upsell. So an upsell is something that people are going to see on the next page, and that tends to be a higher priced offer. So I'm going to make it $197. Now I haven't created any upsell that would make sense for what I'm going to be selling here, but you know what's the easiest thing to sell is your time. So for this purpose, and this is something that I wouldn't normally do because I don't typically do sales calls at this stage of my business, but I'm showing you a very, very simple funnel that you can build, and you probably do sales calls. So I'm going to show you how to make it work. So let's say in this example, we're going to sell a $197 sales call, but it's not going to be called a sales call. It's going to be called some kind of a strategy session or something like that. And what I want to be clear on is that you're not charging for a sales call because people are going to be upset if that's what you're doing. You do want it to be a valuable experience, but also inviting them into your next offer on the back end. So that's essentially what you're doing. And on the back end, ideally, all the people who are going to be booking the sales call will be presented with your next step offer, but also everyone else who's purchasing your mini course, even if they haven't purchased that strategy session, you still want to present them with your back end offer. The back end offer is where the real money is made. That's where it makes sense to create $1 million, even with smaller audiences, smaller being relative, whatever that might be. And I'll show you how to calculate this. So your back-end offer ideally would be a high ticket offer. This is why we want to do sales calls for this case. Now this can be a private coaching package. This could be anything. And I would say that if you're just getting started, doing some kind of a private package, some kind of a done for you is going to be the easiest thing to start with. So in this example, let's say that I'm selling a $5,000 private package of some kind. Okay, so that's my outline. Now, how am I gonna know that this is gonna generate $1 million? So this is something I'm gonna share with you guys. I created this for clients, but I wanna share it with you because it's just such an invaluable tool. So this is a tool I call the MCO funnel ad projection. So I call it micro offers. And this is a profit-driven one. So it's super cool. We'll share that with you guys in the link in a description and drop it in here for you guys as well. So here's how this works. There's a lot of things that you're gonna have to determine, and your funnel can be quite complex. complex. We're not going to do a very complex funnel for the sake of this. So we're going to keep it very simple, but it's going to tell us exactly if you're going to spend money on ads, which is what I typically do. You don't have to run ads, but if you don't have an audience, you're going to want to run ads. So if you're going to run paid ads, this will tell you how much money to spend on those paid ads to generate your goal profit, essentially. And we're focusing on profit, not just revenue, which makes it even more exciting. So let's say that you want to make $1 million. This is 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, $1 million. What is going to be your cost per click? This is where, if you might not really know what that is, but if you're running ads to a worldwide audience, you're probably going to be spending $1 to $2 per click. I'm going to keep it at $1.50. Now here, front end funnel conversion rates. So how many people who are clicking on your ad are going to be converting into a lead, and how many of those leads are going to be turning into customers. So this is if you're doing a little bit more of an advanced setup, which we're not going to do here. So if you're just going to use Thrivecart, which I'll show you how to do, it's the simplest way to do it. I want you to put 100 in here, and let's assume that 8% of all people who click on your page are going to purchase your product. Now, this is where you're going to plug in your numbers. So initial offer price is $47, and I have an order bump price of $47. There's no additional order bumps. I also have a one-time offer, $197. We don't have another one-time offer, and we don't have any downsells. So this is where we're now choosing what percent of people are going to be buying that order bump. 30% is what you're aiming for, so we're going to keep it at 30%. And how many people are going to be going for your one-time offer for $197? Let's keep it at 10%, which is what you're aiming for. Now, last thing, how many of all of your total customers are going to be signing up for your back-end offer, which we said is going to be $5,000. And we're going to do 100. We're going to just remove this. We're just doing it to make it simple. So there's going to be no payment plan, right? So how many? It's probably going to be between 1 to 5, maybe 10%. It's hard to say. Let's make it 5%. Let's say 5%. We're going to be generous with this. So here's what it comes out to be. If you want to make $1 million in profit, I'm saying profit. If you're going to want to make $1 million in profit and you hit all of these numbers, you're going to want to spend $60,000 in ads. Now, of course, there's a lot of different things to consider and things like that. You can also see what it breaks down to being. You will actually make over $1 million in revenue. But this is what you want to be looking at from that end, right? So, of course, once you actually start doing this, you can refine it. You can play around with these numbers. But I wanted to share this with you because it's really cool to play around and see how the numbers change and what is possible for you. Because ultimately, funnels, it's just numbers. It's just playing with numbers and making it work for you. So definitely play around with that. It's super exciting. Okay. So let's actually build everything out. I have one page to build, another page to build, and that's pretty much it. So I want to just really quickly refine and tell you how exactly is everything going to be looking like. So this back-end offer is actually going to be sold through emails and calls. So we don't actually have to build anything for this. This is something that you'll have to do when it comes to setting up your email sequence and stuff like that, which is not what we're doing right now for the sake of this video. This is going to be a video just to focus on building out those initial assets. So you can follow up with all of your customers in many different ways, emails, SMS, but you ultimately want to get these people on the phone call with you. So now that you know the process, I'm going to go ahead and take some time to start writing some sales copy for this. What exactly are we putting on this mini course page? It's going to be a pretty simple page. Again, this is an MVP version of a funnel. So I'm going to just need to create some basic sales copy. I am going to use AI for this, and we have great AI videos on this channel. And I'm actually going to use a video that I filmed previously. By the way, it was also written with AI, and it didn't really take me a long time to do. So I'm going to take some time right now to get all of that prepared, and then I'll see you in a bit. So I've been using AI for a little bit to get a sales page built. I did create a video ahead of time. I did use AI for this as well. And it basically created a video sales letter for me and stuff like that. I've just been meaning to build a sales funnel for a while. So I already had a video that I created. And because I'm using a video, I actually get to build a much simpler page. So I highly recommend that you also film some kind of a video. It doesn't have to be complicated. You can use AI to give you a script. All you're asking it is to write a VSL for you, a video sales letter. But what I did is I went into Claude, I gave it that script, and I had it create a structure of a simple sales page that I'm going to be using. It's a very, very simple MVP version. And I'm going to be essentially now taking that and replicating it inside of Thrivecart. So that's what we're going to be working on for the next several minutes. And again, we're going to keep it nice and scrappy, just good enough to get started. All right, so in Thrivecart, they have a lot of great templates that you can use, but for me, I just want to mimic what was created here, and I'd rather just do this from scratch personally. And even if you don't choose any of the templates that are provided, you can always include different sections called blocks and bring them in. So you can see that there's a lot of different options. Let's see, like a hero area. And that's what I will actually do to make my life a lot easier. So I'm going to move in this headline section in here. I'm going to plug in my logo, change up the colors a little bit. I already have the headline. And then we have a video that's going to go underneath. So we've got a video. I've actually uploaded it into Vimeo already. So I'm going to get the embed code, drop it in. Let's put some text underneath. All right, so this is a very, very simple process. I'm literally just saying, here's what you get, here's what it is, here's what you get, here's why you should buy it. And that's the best like get started version of a page. So here's what you get today. I'm gonna go with this template on the bottom. All right, so let's plug all of this in here. And of course I can be nitpicky and try to make it perfect, but you know what? I'm not gonna do that because we just wanna get this done. And this is the cool thing about using Claude, because it can actually build your page and how it should look. Let's not ignore using these incredible tools that are available to us for free. Next, we have founding member bonuses. So a little different. Although actually, let's just go with this section instead. All right, and then we have the price. Although we have the checkout, so that's pretty straightforward. I'll just have this. So is it the most beautiful page ever? No. But is it something that I can work on over time and I can just go live really fast? Yes. So I'm at 27 minutes and we're gonna keep going to get this all done. So this is the order bump. So the order bump, they just check add to cart, and that's all it is. And I've added a product that I've already created in the past. It's already sold quite well. So I'm just gonna repurpose this product that I've already created, and it's just Canva templates. So I'm gonna change the image. This is an image I created previously, and I'm just gonna say, all right, that's all it is. Super duper easy, super duper simple. I'm gonna remove this coupon. What this is the two-step checkout. I'm actually gonna make it a one-step checkout, so it's just super easy. So we're gonna just create a simple thank you page for now, and then we're gonna add in the upsell after, okay? So I'm gonna make it super duper easy. Doesn't have to be complicated. This is my thank you page. Again, not as like conversion optimized as it could be, but we only got an hour, so we're gonna finish this as quickly as possible. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and go to next, and I'm gonna save and get URL. Now here's the next step. We wanna create that upsell, right? So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go into products, and we're gonna go to the upsell section and create that upsell first. So I'm gonna go ahead and call it a messaging clarity session. I'm gonna charge $197, and that is it. Awesome. Now I'm gonna go back to this offer that I just created, and we're gonna create a funnel. So I'm gonna create the funnel. So I'm back to this page, and I'm gonna go and click add funnel item. So now I'm gonna find this upsell, click next, and add upsell. So this is where we're creating that next upsell. So very good, easy way to create an upsell is also to use a video. So videos are replacing a lot of text that you would otherwise have to put. It's still good to have text on there. It's still something that I would recommend that you add over time. But to get like your quick and dirty version of your sales funnel up that has the ability to be the foundation of everything else that you will do to improve it over time, let's just get a video done. I think it's just so easy and fast to create videos. I also have already filmed the video beforehand. This might take a little bit longer if I was doing it, but clearly we're probably gonna get done way before 60 minutes. So I'm gonna go back to my Claude and I'm gonna have it do something else. I'm gonna say, create a one-click upsell page. And this is just like a simple video that I made, just filming like on my computer. The original one has slides. It's like a video sales letter. This is just literally me talking about this upsell. That's all it is. It's really not a complicated video. I didn't even have a script when I made this video, and it's not filmed in like a professional setting or anything like that. So the first thing is I'm going to add this video onto this page. We're going to see what the structure looks like. Looks good. I'm actually going to remove this buy now from here. We're going to see. Okay, so Claude has created everything here. So we're gonna just add a little bit of text above. All right, so I'm at 42 minutes and I have my upsell page all ready to go. Very nice, very simple. And we've got your thank you page done as well. So this is pretty much it for the funnel in terms of the pages. We're gonna save. And we're good to go. Like, all I have to do is promote it. Of course, we probably should create some emails. Once somebody purchases, how do we move them into booking a call? So let's just ask Claude to create an email sequence. So let's do that in the last 15 minutes that we have. All right, and Claude is ready for action. So here, all the emails that are being created, I don't even have to do it myself. And then at this point, all I have to do is I have to go into my email marketing platform and plug it in. I personally am going to change it a little bit as I do this because I don't take free sales calls anymore, but you could very easily replace this with moving back into that paid messaging clarity session that I came up with, or whatever the next step is for you. And as you do this, then you start running traffic, whether it's ads or social media or email, and you start tracking numbers to see, are you hitting the benchmarks that you were looking at? And if you're not, you know what to tweak, right? So you can now, from there, improve your sales page, improve your order bump, improve your upsells, play around with pricing. You can mess around with it over time as you're generating more information, more data, and knowing exactly what to refine to make this work. So look at that. I've mapped out all the pages, created MVP version of a funnel that has the ability to generate $1 million if it hits the benchmarks that we outlined for it. This didn't take me very long at all, right? I still have 15 minutes left. So now that the funnel's done, and if you're wondering what on earth do I sell, I actually have another video where I created an ebook that I was considering selling for this funnel. I ended up doing something else, but if you're struggling to figure out what am I selling, how do I actually get this up and running, make sure that you watch this video where I talk about how exactly I created my own product in just 10 hours. Honestly, it was a bit of a crunch. It was pretty intense, but if you want to see what it looks like to make and sell a digital product behind the scenes, make sure that you hop over there. I'll see you there.